If we could go back in time and start our cruising journey all over again, there's a lot we'd still do the same.
But there are definitely a few things we do differently. After over 35 cruises, we've learned a few lessons the hard way.
And today we're sharing the habits we've changed, the rookie mistakes we fixed, and the smarter ways we cruise now.
Whether you're new to cruising or you're already got a few under your belt, we hope this helps you cruise smarter. Stick around to the end as we save a few of our best tips for last. Number 1, we keep group cruising flexible. Cruising with a big group can be a blast, but trying to coordinate everything for a lot of people is a recipe for frustration.
We've learned to keep things casual. No need to plan every meal or activity together.
Now, when we travel with friends or family, we agree to meet up here and there, but we all do our own thing in between.
Cruising should feel like a vacation, not a military exercise with a 9 a.m. roll call. Number 2, we'd use self-assist disembarkation more often.
We used to wait for our luggage tags and get called off the ship late in the morning.
Now, if we've got an earlier flight or a tight connection or just want to get moving, we use self-assist.
As long as you can manage your own bags, it's actually really simple.
We've even used it for back-to-back cruises and transfers. Way less waiting around. Number 3, we'd pack half as much. In the early days, our bags were overflowing. Extra shoes, formal wear, just in case stuff.
Now we know what we actually use on a cruise. A few versatile outfits, comfortable shoes, and a good hat go a long way.
And let's be honest, we still don't wear everything we bring.
Number 4, we'd leave more time between flights and boarding.
Flying out of Newfoundland, Canada means connections are a fact of life for us, but we didn't always build in enough buffer time.
We've had some stressful travel days thanks to delays and tight layovers, especially in the winter.
Now we give ourselves extra time between flights and between landing and boarding, even if it means an overnight hotel.
Better to arrive rested than risk missing the ship. Peace of mind is absolutely worth it.
Number 5, we'd get travel insurance every time.
We used to skip it because what could go wrong?
Then we had to cancel a cruise once. A lesson learned.
Medical emergencies, delays, lost bags, it's just not worth the risk. Now it's a non-negotiable.
Number 6, we'd use inside cabins strategically.
We've always loved balcony cabins, but once we started cruising more often, we had to get a bit creative with the budget.
So we started mixing in inside cabins, especially on shorter or sea day heavy cruises where we weren't spending as much time in the room.
That way we stretch our cruise dollars and book more sailings overall.
But for bucket list trips like the Greek Islands or a future Alaska cruise, we're definitely going balcony again.
Number 7, we would plan our own transfers. We've done cruise line transfers a few times, but honestly, they're not our favorite.
Sitting on a bus waiting for 40 other people to show up, it's not our idea of efficient travel.
Now we plan our own transfers, whether it's booking a private shuttle, a ride share, or taking the Brightline train.
Cruise line transfers are a last resort for us. Having control over our own timing, that's a game changer. Number 8, we'd explore the ship on day 1. Back then, we'd find one bar or one pool and just stay there for hours on embarkation day.
Now we do a full loop of the ship right after muster, get the lay of the land, check out venues, and find the good loungers for sea days.
It helps us make the most of the cruise from day 1.
Number 9, we would choose experiences over souvenirs. We used to buy trinkets at every port. Our shelves were pretty full. Our memories, not so much.
Now we focus on experiences, local food, cool excursions, or just a great photo.
You don't have to buy something to bring home a memory.
Number 10, we would do a bar crawl way sooner. It took us too long to realize just how fun it was to try different bars on board. different vibes, different cocktails, and different views.
Now we build it into our sea days. And yes, we vlog the whole thing. It's research, right?
Cheers to that.
Number 11, we try new cruise lines earlier. We stuck with the same cruise line for years. It felt safe.
But once we branched out, Princess, Celebrity, Royal Caribbean, it opened up a whole new world of cruising.
Different ships, styles, and perks. We don't get stuck in a rut.
Number 12, we'd start vlogging from the very first cruise. We wish we had footage from our very first cruise. We remember moments, but not the little things.
Now we document everything, sometimes just for us, and sometimes for Dockside travel.
Even if you don't share it publicly, record your memories. Future you will love looking back.
Number 13, we'd start tracking cruise prices earlier. In the early days, we just booked at whatever price was listed and we never looked back.
Now we track pricing weeks or even months ahead, and we've saved hundreds of dollars doing it.
It also helps us recognize when a deal really is a deal and when it's just clever marketing.
Plus, if prices drop and you book with a refundable deposit or a good travel agent, you can often get onboard credit or refare it. Number 14, we'd be more selective about excursions. We used to book excursions just because they sounded popular, but we've done a few that weren't really our thing.
Now we ask ourselves, does this match really how we like to travel? Do we want history, scenery, food, or just beach time?
We've learned it's okay to skip the big tour and just explore on our own or do something totally different.
And some of our best memories have come from spontaneous, low-key days off the ship.
Number 15, we'd choose anytime dining every time.
We used to lock ourselves into early or late seating, thinking that was just how cruising works.
But once we tried anytime dining, we never looked back. The flexibility is a game changer.
If we're hungry at 5:30, we can eat early. If we've had a long day in port or we want more time on the pool deck, we just go later.
It takes the pressure off, and let's be honest, we like not rushing.
Number 16, we'd embrace theme nights and dress-up nights. We skipped most of the theme nights in our early cruises. I think we were worried we'd look silly or stand out.
But honestly, leaning into it is way more fun. White night, 80s night, formal night, we do it all now.
Even if you just wear a fun accessory, it's a way to get into the spirit of cruising.
And it's not about looking perfect. It's about playing along and having fun. Number 17, we'd pick cruises based on the season, not just the ports.
When we're choosing a cruise now, we don't just look at the itinerary, we think about when we're going.
We did our Mediterranean cruise in the shoulder season, and it was perfect. Fewer crowds, cooler temperatures, and it felt more relaxed.
And we avoid the Caribbean during peak spring break if we can. Less noise, fewer lineups, and more loungers.
Smart timing makes a huge difference, even if the itinerary stays the same.
So that's what we do differently if we could start cruising all over again.
Let us know in the comments, what's one thing you do differently on your next cruise?
And check out our video, after 20 years of cruising, we've learned this. We'll link it at the end and in the description.
Subscribe if you haven't already. There are more cruise tips and travel fun coming your way. And please hit that thumbs up button. It really does matter.
Thanks for watching.